Hello, everybody. Welcome to Allsport ABP. Yes, this is my first live that I'm trying through YouTube just to have a look at, how the settings work, how I could use this live feature going forward. And today, I actually chose someone to be with me who's been my longtime friend, especially regarding sports. One of my go-to persons to talk about the kind of sports that I like to follow, especially cricket and football, and also WWE. So I think he's going to be here in a while. Let's just wait and see where he is. And in the meantime, whoever is connected, whoever is watching, would be good if you could, give a hi, say hello. Even you could tell me if the sound is okay, the volume and everything. Let's check if it's all good. We might have some internet disruptions as well, but let's see how far we could go with this. I'm still waiting for my good friend, and he says, Bro, ashtasi. Okay, he's going to make a fashionably late entrance. Whatever he does, the main thing that I'm talking about is going to be wrapped up within 12. So we're trying to finish this by the end of today, which is the 5th of May. Lots of things happened, and we could talk about those as well. We could talk about cricket. We could talk about the world of football, what's happening right now, and the big news that's basically circulating, and various reactions from the football fans as well. Still haven't seen if people have joined me or not. Let me just maybe share this in different places just to let you guys know that we're live. I suddenly got some cold. Don't know where that came from, but just while having dinner, suddenly I felt something, and then I've been sneezing for a bit. Let me just check in on Shahnoor as well. Let's see. Can this go? Maybe some places here. In any case, this is absolutely experimental, and whatever the output of this, we'll see. I can see Shahnoor is, I think, joining. I can see him. Well, I'm using these features for the first time. I'm using StreamYard for the first time, so I'm not sure if everything's okay. Let me just add him. Shahnoor, can you hear me?
ABP, I'm gonna exit the studio just a bit because আমি হচ্ছি আমার হেডফোনে I can't hear you, but I think আমার হেডফোন থেকে মাইক কাজ করতেছে.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I'll wait for you to come back. Okay. So, yeah, this is actually part of testing, which means we don't have a lot of time to talk about stuff. Let me just get started. I've been actually planning to do a few videos regarding a few topics, and maybe I could start with Man United. So the entire season of Manchester United, if a neutral follows it, it has been nothing short of disappointing, to be honest. And just disappointing won't suffice. We can obviously talk about some other things that happened, some anomalies that happened, some weird stuff that keeps on happening. Uh, Let me see if Shahnoor is here again. Is it okay now, Shahnoor?
হ্যালো, আচ্ছা, the same problem. আমি আমার হেডফোন অফ করে আমি দেখি if I can hear you a bit better.
Okay, okay.
Just kidding. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
আচ্ছা, আমি আমি তোমাকে শুনতে পাচ্ছি, but it's very low. I don't know
Okay.
about everyone else.
আমার ভলিউমের ইস্যু হইতে পারে, I'm not sure.
হুম।
Let's see. Uh, Let me increase my mic volume. এখন কি বেটার শোনা যাচ্ছে? Is it better?
Okay, now I think I can hear you good.
Okay, all right. So yeah, Shahnoor, welcome.
Perfect. হ্যাঁ। এগো করছো না তো?
একটু হ্যাঁ, একটু শুনতে পাচ্ছি, একটু একো আসতেছে, হ্যাঁ।
একটু একটু echo আসতেছে না? আচ্ছা। wait. এখন I think echo হবে না।
No, no echoes, everything's fine, and oh, okay. তার মানে we both can't keep our mics on at the same time, এরকম কিছু কি?
না, আমার just echo cancellation টা on করে দিছি।
Okay, all right. So is it working now? We're good to go.
Yeah, everything's working fine. Yeah.
I mean, we've gone already. It's been 8 minutes since I've been live here
হ্যাঁ,
already. Been talking to
yeah.
myself. I'm not sure if people have joined us. I just see a comment from Alif who says, "Hello, Parvez bhai. Hello. I hope you had a good day today. Must be a special day for you." Shahnoor, though, it's a regular day for you, right? Going doing
Regular.
some commentary and then coming back to sleep. How was it today?
It was good. Obviously the game ended early, so we didn't have to commentate for the full 100 overs. So and also Bangladesh A1, so that was good. But having said that, given the team that New Zealand put out, mostly newbies, players we've not really seen much of, some of them playing in these subcontinental conditions for the first time, you almost expected Bangladesh to be winning. So the pressure is on the hosts or the home team to win all the games in this series. But then you have to ask the question, like, what's the real end game here for these players? Because New Zealand, clearly they're trying a different thing with the emerging team or with the A team. They have different plans. They're looking to build a bigger pool of players, whereas Bangladesh, they're going with the same bunch of players that we've seen playing in the national team for years. So, how does this really help increase the pool of players? Yes, you can say that it helps these players who have represented the national team. It helps them stay fit, stay in the match practice, perform well, and get under the selectors' eyes, and increase their chances of making the ODI side. But really, with the ODI World Cup 2 years away, this could have been an opportunity for newer faces. And I feel like with the World Cup in mind, New Zealand put up a much more logical team compared to what Bangladesh A did.
Well, yeah, I think you're right in a lot of aspects, but that also brings us to the point where I actually personally haven't seen a schedule where all these different teams, the national team, the A team, the emerging team, the under 19 team, all four teams actually playing in parallel time. So which actually in effect brings all the 60 around or 60, 70, players within the pipeline, within the fringe, and even the future prospects. Everyone's actually playing. You just can't say that, for the A team, we bring in some young prospects. So who's going to play in the under 19s? I think that could be, a logic that, the 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 people who made those teams, who selected those teams, can bring up. But in any case, yes, obviously, since the World Cup is still 2 years down the line, I think this could have been the start point of trying to create or build the process from where we actually want to move ahead. But I felt that, yeah, they're just trying to give all the 60, 70 players who are within the radar, of various age levels and various experience levels. They're just giving them game time mostly. So yeah, it looked a bit, one-sided in a way that, a team, it looked like Bangladesh. The players that were there, they know what they're doing. It's their home condition as well, and they looked like they were more, the experience showed basically, and that's where I think New Zealand suffered today. But I'm pretty much sure they'll adjust pretty quickly, and the next couple of games will be much more competitive. And I hope to hear more of you guys doing that from Sylhet. So I think I've already posted something on my page, and the thumbnail says that I want to talk about football mainly. So having you here is a good thing for me. Today, some news has been circulating. Was it today or the day before? Arsene Wenger came up. He talked about various, things regarding the changing of rules, especially for the teams that win the lower tier of European competitions. Why are they allowed to qualify for the higher tier in the next season? That has been his question, and he basically mentioned that the UCL is kind of the holy grail, the biggest of big events, the best of the best go and participate there. And they're supposed to be the best. But if a club or a team that is, as low as 15th or 16th in the league, you know what he said. Basically, he basically said it's unfair that teams like United and Spurs, if they go through, if they win the trophy, this is kind of going to disgrace the UCL next season. Uh, I felt it was very harsh, and you know the rules were set like maybe a decade ago of this system of the UEL champion moving into UCL next season. So that's basically reward for a good run in a big club competition, right? So I'm not sure why Wenger suddenly lashed out in such a situation. And if you look at the UCL situation overall, even the UEL pattern that they're trying to establish right now, they're trying to increase the number of teams, right? So now in terms of like the top five, you'll see like 5 teams qualifying, even 6 teams qualifying based on coefficients and whatnot. So actually the number of teams are increasing. And if you look at the fifth team, for example, even in the Premier League, they're like 20 points behind the champion. So how are they qualified to be the best of the best? If that's what Wenger wants to talk about. So it has to be basically maybe just 2 teams or 3 teams at best from each league, or maybe they should be counting the points tally. If you go over 80, that's when you qualify. If you're under 80 points, you don't qualify wherever position you end up at. So this logic of saying that a UEL winner can't join the UCL, that disgraces the tournament. What are your feelings about that, and do you think he's justified in what he actually meant, or what he actually said regarding this?
Yeah, I think there is merit to the point that you know a league is based over an entire year, and over here you're trying to establish the best teams throughout the year. The cream of the crop rises to the top, and Manchester United, Spurs, for all their better exploits in the UEL, where they've mostly played Wi-Fi passwords, they, doesn't really. You yourself know that the quality of the Premier League is at an all-time high, and it's just um, harder to do well in the Premier League more now than ever. One injury, and all of a sudden, your season can go down the drain. And we've seen that with Manchester City. They've had like one injury to Rodri, and all of a sudden, they're fifth, sixth. Like it's a chain reaction. Everyone else starts falling apart. Look at your team. You've had one injury, two injuries. Spurs, they've had injuries, and look at where you ended up in the table. Yes, you are doing well in the UEL, but that's mainly because the UEL format has become a lot easier as well. Like the UCL teams that finish third in the group, it's not like they're coming into the UEL anymore. Before, the UEL was almost as tough as the UCL, not as tough, but the difference, the disparity in quality wasn't as high as it is now, because you had a lot of these UCL teams that finished third and they'd come into the UEL and then they'd end up winning it. So the amount of competition this season with the new format has actually decreased. So I think Wenger has a valid point there that um, you know the best teams should be playing in the best competition. And if a Manchester United or a Spurs they win the UEL and based off of the previous format they get through, um, I also think like long term when you think about it, these teams who finish 13th, 14th, 15th, wherever they end up finishing in the league, maybe it's low as 17th, are going to be playing in the UCL next season. The jump that they'll have to make, uh, do you think it's going to be easy for Spurs or Manchester United, whoever wins it? I don't think so. So that's the thing that we have to keep in mind, because Manchester United were playing in the UCL just a season ago and they got knocked out by uh, some farmers from Norway, I believe.
Right, the UCL. Well, yeah, I mean, we didn't progress from the group stages last season. We were fourth, so we were
Yeah,
just out of the competition.
exactly. So there's no point in coming into the UCL and playing that badly if you're not going to be competing for the top honors. And I mean, like making it through to the knockout stages, at least the quarterfinals.
Well, point well noted, but still, then the issue remains where you can actually think of it as, a competition that also runs across the season. It's a cup competition that runs across the season. You're talking about teams that are playing like, you talk about Wi-Fi password teams and all, but do you think it's just as easy? You just come in and you just go and win it. You actually need to win it to go to the next level anyway. So there must be an incentive for the champions over here, and that's something that I think I felt as especially considering the kinds of teams that are participating in the semis or the finals. All these teams could actually fare in the UCL. It's not like a Wi-Fi password team suddenly comes up into the semifinals or the finals, right?
Bodo
So it's
Glimt,
Spurs, it's Bilbao,
Bodo
Man
Glimt,
United.
Bodo Glimt, they don't even have their own logo, man. You go to Google and you won't even find their own logo. So yeah,
We aren't
absolutely.
playing them
I
anyway.
mean,
So
that is a Wi-Fi password. It's literally like they don't even know what their name is. Bodo/Glimt. They're playing in the semifinals. They would never be playing in the semifinals in previous formats. We know that.
well, yeah, that could happen. That could happen. But it happens. Like in
Tell me
the FA Cup
one
last
team
season,
Manchester United have
Coventry
beaten
actually came
that
to
are
the semi-finals,
actually
right?
UCL quality, that are actual UCL quality in the UEL this time, that are actual UCL quarterfinalists quality in the UCL this time in the
No,
UEL.
fine.
There
You,
hasn't been
you
a single
can't
team.
say they're finalist quality. That's fair. You can't say they're finalist quality, but at least if you consider a few teams to be within the top 20 to 30 teams in European football, I mean there are teams that has played in the UEL because it's a secondary cup. I understand, so it can't be compared to the quality of UCL anyways. But the prize for the first place, I mean, having an opportunity, giving a slot for the champion for the next season of the highest level of competition, I think it creates that incentive for the team to win this, or else why would you even try to win this competition anyway? I mean, except for the
I
prize
feel
money,
like
maybe.
I feel like given the quality and the level of competition in the Premier League, the new UEFA settings, it's actually favoring these Premier League teams, because you have so many teams that are now being competitive. They have money, the likes of Chelsea. They'll be winning the Conference League by playing their C or D team. We know that they're winning the Conference League. We knew they were winning the Conference League as soon as they got drafted into it. because no teams from the Europa League are going to come to the Conference League to even challenge them. So the quality of the Conference League and the uh, UEFA Europa League, it's gone down drastically. And this is almost setting up these English teams that might not finish in the top 4 or 5, that get into the Europa League spots and the Conference League spots to win the tournament. It'll be like Premier League teams winning every single year at this rate.
Well, yeah, that there's logic behind it, but I actually feel this season is an anomaly for more than one reasons. I mean, you'd never associate United and Spurs to be 15th and 16th in the league anyway. So that's where the anomaly lies. Usually, when the teams win the UEL, they're not teams who are 15th and 16th. I think this is the first time in the history of this UEL competition where certain clubs who are 15th and 16th in the league are actually in the semis and might make it to the final. So that's where the anomaly lies. And I think
And
Wenger,
that
I felt
actually tells you the quality of the league.
when he
That
comes
actually
out
tells you the
talking
quality
about
of the
this,
Europa League
when
overall.
he comes out to talk about this rule change, right when he sees Spurs and United fighting for the trophy, I think that gives us different kind of an indication. We know who Wenger is, we know who he is aligned to, and what he wants to happen and what he doesn't. So could it be that factor as well, that he suddenly comes up and speaks out about this just because United and Spurs are there in the finals, maybe potentially?
I mean, let's say they win the Europa League. We know that they're not going to go and challenge for the Champions League next season. It's just not going to happen. They don't have the team.
Well, that's a different case. They could have a team. UEL win gives good funds. They could make use of it. They could, draw players
How
who
much money?
might be interested to
How much
play in the
money?
UCL.
I think it's less money than Champions League qualification, just winning the prize money. I don't think
We
it's
need
much.
to, I'll need to confirm that. We don't have a
Yeah.
lot of time now, else I would have started to, dig and
Yeah.
see what it is. But obviously there will be a winning money, right? You'll get some more than if you don't win it. That's what I basically meant. So and having a UCL, tag for the next season, you might have a good transfer window, just using that as an attraction as well. So I think to be competitive, you need to improve, and right now for teams like Spurs and United where they are, the only way to improve is to actually go and try and win this thing. So they have this incentive to have a good summer window coming forward. But you did not actually
I would
answer
say,
the point that I made
I would
regarding
say,
why would Wenger, out of all people, just come out and talk about the rule change. Do you? I mean, in
I'm
your
sure
heart of hearts, do you think this is a fair assessment? He just came out, and it's a coincidence that he comes out and talks about it right now.
yeah, I mean, he's probably been asked about it in such a way where he's made his point, and he's working in FIFA currently. So what he says has value and will have a ripple effect with the competitions moving forward. I think UEFA have gotten it right with the Champions League, with the additional teams and this format, but at the same time, the extra games, it's adding more pressure on the players, more number of teams, more matches. There's so much negative. Uh, it far outweighs the positives, I feel. So previous format that they had, especially with the away goals, I think they just changed the format and didn't really improve the tournament overall. Um, and obviously, the UEFA Europa League and Conference League, another tournament which they've added, has taken a hit in quality because it's become pretty obvious that teams from the Premier League, they'll just have more funds, they'll have better players in most occasions, and they'll be going far. So I don't think that's what UEFA would have. Maybe that's what they wanted, but I don't think that would make for very good viewing in the longer run for UEFA. We'll have to see the numbers as well. How things go as the tournament progresses. But if that's the case every single season, where it's a Premier League team winning, then it'll become very boring very quickly. And you want the best teams playing in the best competitions and playing it by being among the best teams in their league, being in a position where they can challenge for top honors. You mentioned that it'll help them get more players playing in the Champions League. While that may be true, just getting players hasn't really helped the likes of Manchester United over the past 10, 11 years. Spurs, we all know what happens with them. So it's a toxic merry-go-round for these teams. One moment they're playing in the Champions League, they're not competing. Next moment they're down, doing well in the Europa League. So it's back to square one again.
No, but the way you mentioned the point regarding United and Spurs maybe not being competitive enough, do you actually think any team who's starting from the 11th to the 17th position in the Premier League, other than United and Spurs, do you think they would have had this run in the UEL up to the finals? I mean, would they have that quality?
I mean, if you put Newcastle, why not? If you put Aston
Newcastle,
Villa, why not?
they're within the top 10. I'm talking about teams from 11th to 17th, the ones that are below the top 10 in the Premier League. Any other team other than United and Spurs, do you think they would have come this far in the UEL?
What's West Ham's position? West Ham won the Conference League not too long ago.
Yeah, they won the Conference League. They're not winning the Europa League. United is actually unbeaten in the Europa League. They're the only team that's unbeaten in European competitions this season. And
Mm.
yet they're 15th or 16th in the league. So this is why I actually said this is an anomaly of a season. This
But then
you just
you're
you know
you're you're completely writing off the point about West Ham. I'm saying that West Ham, given the team that they have, they won the Conference League not too long ago, and they've actually added to their team the likes of Mohamed Kudus plays there, Lucas Paqueta. You look at the quality that West Ham have in their midfield, in their attack, and in defense as well. Overall, yeah, they'd have a shot. They'd have a chance. Why not? Outside the top 10 of the Premier League, the Premier League's top 17. In fact, it's hella competitive, right? Um, you really can't count out any team. Nottingham Forest were finishing 15, 16, 17, and look at the depth that they have. Look at the quality they have in their starting 11. One good season without injuries, and all of a sudden they're challenging for the top four. Why not? Why couldn't these Premier League teams actually do it? You know, and I think that's what these competitions will show us more and more of. That if these Premier League teams get into it, you put a Bournemouth playing in the Europa League, see what they do. You put a team like Brentford, Fulham, West Ham. These teams, they've got quality players. Even the likes of Wolves, they've got quality players. Strand Larsen, Mateus Cunha, who you're linked with. You know, they have money to spend on top quality players. It's the Premier League, so um, I see no reason why these teams can't.
all right. So you mean to say that suddenly the Premier League is so strong that even any team from the top 17, even the teams that are at the bottom of the league, can still win a trophy like the European, the UEL. That's your perspective. I actually I'm not very sure about that, because if you look at the teams that have played in the Europa League, irrespective of the UCL teams not coming back, there were teams like Lyon who are like up there in the French league. Teams like Bilbao were still fourth in their league, and they actually had the best defense in the La Liga this season anyway. So there are teams that have those values, and they have that quality. I think at least there were 8 teams that you could say could play in the UCL as well, including United and Spurs. So let's just wrap it here, because I think my time is up. I don't want to exceed the time limit. Want to be strict with that. And it was really good to have you for the first live ever in my YouTube channel. Thank you very much for being here. And we just got started, I'm telling you, because I had so much to talk about regarding your club, Arsenal, as well. We haven't touched that at all. And today it was my turn to just take the punches. I didn't give anything back. I just heard what you had to say. And being a nice host, I let you go for today. And hope we catch up very soon. Maybe even at your place, we can have another, chat about what's happening here. And maybe we could even watch the UEL final together and the UCL final if Arsenal go through.
30 minutes with ABP, eh? Yeah, absolutely. If Arsenal go through, uh, let's see what happens there. But even if we don't go through, just to quickly wrap up on this topic, I don't think we're going anywhere. We're not falling off a cliff. Every year, I keep hearing that Arsenal this season was the season. After that, they're not going to have a chance. And every season, we keep proving the doubters wrong. Last season, they said that that would be the season. This season, it's like this is the best chance they have at the Champions League. After that, they're going to fall off a cliff. I don't see that happening. We'll be adding more players in our attack and our midfield. And we've just been going from strength to strength in the last few years, even with injuries this season. We're second and we're in the Champions League semis, so it's not bad.
Sure, sure. I think yes. Now you have a bit more energy when you talk about Arsenal. We'll have this chit chat very soon. I hope. May you have some great times over there at Silet, and see you very soon, Shahnoor. Thank you very much for being here.
Thanks, ABP.